on It's Supernatural. Arrested, beaten, and tortured for his faith by sadistic Middle East terrorists, Jesus rescues an Egyptian Muslim from the horror of death by crucifixion.
Hello, Sid Roth here with Majid El-Shafi. What happens when an Egyptian Muslim finds out that Jesus is the Messiah? The religious police put him in interrogation and try to kill him. His family disowns him. Other Muslims want to kill him. It's not an easy thing. Majid, you come from a family of attorneys, a Supreme Court justice, and you were studying law yourself. How in the world did you make this jump from being a Muslim? And you probably had a terrific future assured with this whole legal family and everything. How did you even begin to think about Jesus in the Bible?
Let's start after I finished my high school back in Egypt, and I started to study law in Alexandria to become a lawyer. And in the first year in Alexandria school, I discovered that there is between 6,000 to 7,000 Christians, Egyptians, they are in jail, 6,000 to 7,000. And they are in jail for no reason, just because they are Christians. No, there is no another reason. There is something in the Egyptian law, it's called Al-Khatt Al-Hamayuni law. It's a law that you cannot build churches. You can build bar, discotheque, but not churches.
But they have churches in Egypt.
And old ones, not new ones.
I see.
And actually by this law that you cannot rebuild or build the old ones. So basically what's happened that you leave the old ones until it's collapsed on itself. So all of this show me that there is something wrong. There is persecution.
So you're worried about this problem. How did you then make the leap to believing in Jesus?
I started to research why there is persecution. From my knowledge, when there is a persecution, that means that the enemy tried to hide something, that somebody tried to hide. Why you persecute some people, you know?
You have a real legal mind.
Yeah, exactly. And I went to my best friend, his name is Tamer. Tamer was Christian, I was Muslim. And I told him, Tamer, why there is persecution happening to the Christians? And Tamer told me, listen, if I answered you, my answer can affect our friendship together. But I will give you a book. In this book you will find answer for every question that you have. My first time I opened this book, it was a book about justice and love and forgiveness, more than about law. It's called the Holy Bible. And first time I opened the Holy Bible was chapter John 8. And in John 8, they bring a lady commit adultery, throw her in front of the Lord, told him,
yes,
judge her according to the law of Moses. He started to write down on the sand by his finger. They repeated the question again. The Lord looked at all of them, told them, who without sin cast her the first stone? And the only one who can cast the first stone was the Lord himself, Jesus, because he is the only one have no sin. But he didn't. They left. He looked at the lady, told her, go sin no more, I forgive you. And this was my first time I see true forgiveness. True forgiveness. I started to read the Quran, I started to read the Bible, I started to compare between both of them. In the end, after almost a year, I went to my friend Tamer and I told him, Tamer, I know now what is Christianity. Christianity is not about religion. Christianity is not about going to the church every Sunday, hallelujah, bless the Lord, and see you Lord next Sunday. Christianity is about a relationship with God. I accept the Lord and I want to receive Jesus.
But you have to count the cost. How could you do that? Your heritage, your family, your career.
Nothing of that equal anything. If you know that your soul in the end will end in hell.
Okay, you started an organization to help the Christians in prison and the rights for Christians.
Yes.
And how large did the organization become in Egypt?
Well, we started by 7 members, and after that we ended in 2 years 24,000.
24,000?
In one.
Okay, then he writes a book about what he believes, and he gets arrested. What happened when you got arrested?
August 15, 1998. 1:30 in the morning, I heard knock on my door. I went to open the door. An officer asked for a name. I told him, a gentleman asked for a name. I told him, nobody here by this name. 2 minutes later, 5 5 soldiers, 2 officers, they came, they broke the door, they took me from inside. They put me in the police station, it's called the Zogli police station, it's behind the Egyptian parliament. They told me, we know who you are, we know about the book that you wrote, the organization that you built. One thing we don't know, that who is the rest of your group. I told them, I don't know which group, I don't know which organization, and if you know everything about me, why are you asking me? They told me, you want to play tough, we can play tough together. I told them, tough is my middle name, you have no idea. They took me next day to Abu Zabal jail. Abu Zabal jail, known in the Middle East to hell on earth. And Abu Zabal jail, let me just tell you a few information about the persecution system in the Middle East. As the people listening to us now, they have no knowledge about what's happening. And first, they change your name in the official paper. So if your family or any human rights organization ask about you, you not exist.
Really?
In the official papers. The officers that they are torturing you, they're always wearing masks. You cannot see their faces. They always call each other by numbers, not by names. And every day was different, the level of torture. So if you stay, day number 1, they take this level of torture. If you didn't speak, they take you to higher level. I spent there 7 days. For me, like 700 years.
Hold that thought. They end up crucifying him. I'm not kidding. Don't go away. Be right back. Hello, Sid Roth here with Majid El-Shafi. Now, Majid, you said they arrested you because you're living in Egypt. You are a Muslim, you're a law student, you start an organization for Egyptians that believe in Jesus. There's all sorts of persecution going on. You write a book. They haul you in. They want the names of the other Christians associated with you. You refuse to tell them. And then, did you know that the torture would be as bad as it was, or did you not know this?
Christians is like a bag of tea. You don't know how strong they are until you throw them in hot water. So I didn't know, but I expected something like that.
Okay, each day they got progressively worse, and is it true that they told you what they were going to do the next day so you would think about it?
Yeah, basically.
It's a mental thing as well as physical.
It's a mental warfare, of course. Day number 1, they shaved the hair of my head, they put my head in cold and hot water. When I say cold water, it's a frozen water almost, and when I say hot water, there is smoke coming out of it. And they put your head 1 minute here, 1 minute there. After that, they took me back to my cell. They told me, you tell us the name of your friends. I told them, to be honest with you, I didn't take shower for a long time, and I enjoy the cold and hot water.
You got chutzpah, that's a Hebrew word, nerve.
And I look handsome without hair. And seriously, if you see, I kept the style a little bit. The more that you smile, the more that you show them no fear, they lose their control. Day number 2, they carry me, they put me upside down. Half of my body was on the ground, the another half was hanging. They burned me by 3 cigarettes, they slashed my back. They beat me by every way possible. In the day number 2, the only thing that I can really remember in day number 2 was the taste and the smell of my blood. They took me back to my cell. They told me, tell us the name of your friends. I told them no. And they told me, do you know what will be your punishment when tomorrow, if you didn't tell us, you're tortured tomorrow? I told them no. They told me that we release 3 dogs to attack you. The 3 dogs trained to attack human beings, to eat flesh. And they closed the door. If you are in my place, what do you do?
They put the dogs in the cell and then locked the door with you in there?
No, they were telling me the day before.
Yes.
We are still day number 2.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they opened the door. Day number 3, if you are in my place, what do you do? I just prayed to the Lord and I told him, Lord, just take me home. Basically, just, kill me before tomorrow morning.
That would have to be a horrible death, to have these attack dogs.
And I was scared because I was afraid that under heavy torture I can mention the name of my friends. I'm still flesh and blood. Day number 3, they open the door. My cell is dark. The corridor, the light in the corridor is red light. They open the door. You can see the shadow. The 3 dogs getting closer and closer, and you can hear their noise, their voice, the feet. And I went and I sat down in the corner, and I waited for pain and agony, and I covered my face by my own hand. And The dogs get closer and closer and closer, and suddenly I couldn't hear the noise. I couldn't hear their voices. I took my hand away from my face to see what's happened. The 3 dogs sitting around me, none of them attacked. Soldiers and officers start to kick the dogs to attack.
Yes, of course.
You see, these dogs train to listen to their master, but there is no higher master than Jesus Christ. Long story short. They took the set of the 3 dogs, and I can hear the soldier telling them maybe they're sick. Bring me another set of 3 dogs. They bring another set of 3 dogs. Another set of 3 dogs sit in the same position, but the middle one took a step forward, and he licked my face.
Well, what did the guards think about that?
The guards didn't know what's happened. They took the 3 dogs. They closed the door. All of them, they was talking about miracle. They didn't know what is miracle. And but they was talking about what is miracle, and they're talking it's miracle. And they took the 3 dogs. They left. Day number 4, officer number 27, big huge man, strong man. He came, he opened the door. He told me, listen, I'm not afraid from you. I told him, I know that you're not afraid from me. I am the one who's supposed to be afraid from you. You're the one who's torturing me.
Do you have chutzpah?
He told me, listen, I'm here to make with you a deal. I told him, I'm listening. He told me, you tell me the name of your friends, I will release you. Whatever you like, I will give you. You want a big house? I give you a big house. You want a brand new car? I give you a brand new car. You want beautiful ladies? I give you beautiful ladies. Whatever you want, I give you. I told him I like it. I will take the deal. But first, I didn't eat for 3 days. Go bring me food, and after that, we'll talk together. He told me, whatever you like to eat. I told him, shish kebab. And trust me, shish kebab is much better than McDonald's. But anyway, so he went, he bring the best shish kebab. I sat down, I ate. He told me, now you tell me the guys who work with you. I told him, listen, our group is a big, huge group.
Of course.
I cannot give you all their names. I cannot remember all of them. But I will give you the name of our leader. You can catch him, and he can tell you exactly the rest of our groups. He told me the leader. I thought that you are the leader. I told him, no, sir, I'm just a servant. He told me, okay, give me the name of your leader. I told him the name of our leader, Jesus Christ. If you can catch him, catch him.
Oh, my goodness. Now, he didn't react too well to that.
No, he didn't like it.
What did he do?
Well, officer number 27, he punished me 2 punishments. The first punishment that he slapped my face. And he was a strong, big man. I hit the wall. Officer number 27 didn't know that later on I will be in your show making fun about it. He didn't know that. He thought that he broke my spirit, but he was wrong. Later on, they took me. My second punishment is the reason that I don't sleep in the night. Until now, I have nightmares. They took me to another dark room, and they had a piece of wood and cross shade. They took off my clothes, and they crucified me for 2 days and a half.
Not nailed.
Not nailed. They tied your hand, your neck, your waist, your arms, your feet, your legs. And in the end of the 2 days and a half, they bring an Egyptian knife, it's called mangle, and they make cut to the back of my left shoulder, and they put lemon and salt on the open wounds.
How much can one human take?
And one human with God or without God? That's the question.
I'll tell you what, hold that thought. We'll be right back, because they could not break him. And what do you think about these attack dogs not attacking him? Sounds like Daniel in the lion's den. Be right back after this word. Hello, Sid Roth here with Majid, and I don't know about you, but how can a human take what he went through? So they did succeed. They didn't break him, but they sure broke his body. And they take him to a hospital, if you could call it such a thing as a hospital, and he is so thirsty. They don't expect him to ever walk out of that hospital alive. He's so thirsty. What happened, Majid?
And I slept thirsty in this night, and the Lord came to me in vision, and he gave me water in his hand. And he told me, if you drink my water, why do you need any another water? And I drink from the river, basically, of his hand. And next day I will start to move my hands, and a week later I start to move my arms, I start to move my body, and I was healed completely to the picture that you see. This.
Okay, but his friends recognize now that he's healed, he has a new problem. They still want to get him. And so he has to get out of Egypt. Now he's surrounded with other Arab countries. He's a Muslim that has rejected his faith, now believes in Jesus. The only country that he could possibly go to was Israel. What did you think of Israel?
I didn't know anything about Israel before I go there.
What about the Jewish people?
I didn't know anything about the Jewish people. The only thing that I knew is the propaganda that they having in the Arabic media.
So why would you want to, if you knew the propaganda, why would you want to go to Israel?
Because the enemy of my enemy is my friends.
I got you. So he has a bold escape, actually on a jet ski. He gets to Israel, and this is amazing. You fall in love with the Jewish people. In fact, when you recently, the Lebanon-Israeli war, you were actually there for the last 3 days. Tell me what this means to you.
Well, in the last 3 days in the war, we did the Human Rights Observer mission to go there to see the war between Hezbollah and Israel. And what you see now is ballberries, which is the Hezbollah. They put it, Hezbollah. They use it in their missile, in their rockets.
Why?
To hit the Israeli civilians. You see, when you use weapon like this is like the rocket that hit Haifa during the war, carrying 40,000 of these ones, of this small little boat. And what's happened that when it's hit the ground, is shattered everywhere and kill everyone in this area.
Are you bothered that the press gives such a biased view of what really happened in that war? Does that bother you?
It's bothered me. I'm not underestimating the Lebanese pain. You know, my heart goes to Lebanon as well. But there is also Israel, and Israel did not start the war. And when you hit Israel by weapons like this is not about Sheba farms. This is not about the Palestinian state. That's about the existence of the state of Israel.
Listen, there is a difference between war of soldiers fighting soldiers and war of soldiers targeting, not by accident, targeting innocent civilians with bombs that have little ball bearings that can kill you, that can maim you for life. There is something so savage about this. I want you to see some clips from the video that Majid did.
It was a big shock, because since 1948, this city was never under fire or never in a state of war. It's for the first time that we were under a shell of rockets. It brings you to a state that you can do nothing, because you stay behind walls and in secure areas and just wait that the rocket will hit your head. Those who are carrying 40 kilos of ball berries, this is a small metal which is inside, and once the rocket hits a solid ground, it scatters around in a vicinity of 1,000 meters. And whoever stands in this vicinity gets killed.
It's simply horrific, meaning it simply tears a body apart. It doesn't give the person, you know, when the regular bomb falls, it gives the person a chance. This doesn't give you a chance. It simply throws holes into you. And this is simply inhuman. This is something which is not done. These missiles are made by Syria. Countries do not produce these kind of missiles. It's simply, the only purpose of this missile is to kill, and preferred to kill civilians. And this is something that the world cannot tolerate.
At Haifa's Rambam Hospital, Majid prays with Israeli Arab Christians Nicola and Sana Haik. Sana's spinal cord was pierced by a single ball bearing from an exploding Hezbollah missile. The mother of 3 children, aged 3, 5, and 11, is now paralyzed from her waist down.
We are here in Kiryat Shmoni. This is a house. A family, civilian family, was living here, and the Katyusha fall on the house. And this is pieces and part of the Katyusha. And as you can see, it's a civilians. His house belonged to a family. It's not a military base. It's not anything about army. But here it is, Hezbollah attacked this house, attacked this place.
It is so important for you to see what the media is not telling us. Why is the media not telling us this? Many of them are afraid for their life. But there are so many Christians that I call real Christians. Not the Sunday, go to church Friday with their leather Bible saying, praise the Lord, but ones that live it. Majid, I have to tell you, I'm Jewish, and you literally provoke me to jealousy, but there are many Christians that are suffering just the way you suffered. Do you have a message for the countries that are torturing Christians right now?
The persecuted Christians, my message is, the persecuted Christians is dying every day, but they still smiling. They are in very deep dark night, but they still have the candles of the living God. Our enemy have very strong army, have very strong weapon, but we have the Lord Almighty. Believe me when I tell you, they can kill the dreamer, but no one can kill the dream. And that's my message.
I have an idea, but I have an idea for peace. How in the world, in the Middle East, which the whole world is jockeying in right now, trying to figure out how to have peace when there is no peace, how can Arabs and Jews ever get together? How can Muslims and Jews ever get together? Do you really think that you can legislate this? Yes, you can, for a short period of time, and then it'll be worse than the short peace that you had. But God has a solution. Tell me the emes, the truth. What do you feel about Israel and the Jewish people? Look in that camera and tell them what you feel about Israel and the Jewish people, just quickly.
What I know or what I feel about Israel, they have the right to exist. They suffered and they have the right to exist. We need to understand that Israel and the Jewish people, they suffered a lot in the past. And it's about time that Christians and Jews together, even secular, they understand that we need to help, we need to stop, we need to be there for them. That's how I feel.
Give me your hand. I'm going to tell you something. We are one new man in Messiah.
Amen.
Jew and Muslim, because the middle wall of separation has come down. Okay. And you know, and I know, and now you know, in Israel there are Arabs and Jews that love each other. And we're going to spread this love. It all comes from the King of the Jews, Yeshua, Jesus the Messiah. And he's removing the spiritual scales from the eyes of Jewish people right now. He's removing the spiritual scales from the eyes of Arabs and Muslims right now, so that we could be one, so the world will believe.
Amen.